What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Chad. Good morning, Detroit fan man. Good morning, Bear Down Mike. Good morning, Jeremy B in the house. Good morning, Jason. Oh, yeah. Gotta like that. Oh, yeah. It is that time of the morning right there. It is 11 a.m. Yeah. I actually got the beginning of it going good right here. Welcome to NFC North. NFC North Talk with your host, me, Russell Wayne, here talking football every single weekday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. Love it. Broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions news. Yes, broadcasting live. Mike the Bear fan, Bill the Packer fan, Detroit Lions villain squad. And man, you know what I really wanted to talk about today? Because it just seems like the common theme for the three fan bases is just to talk about how the Lions can't do it. And it just seems like, is the hype train being, the hype train is out there, right? We got the Kool-Aid, the people that are drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Lots of people are drinking the Kool-Aid. But within the Lions organization, are they selling it? Are they sounding like that? It seems to me like they do have the hype train under control within the walls. We're out of control out here, guys. We're Lion fans. We're out here drinking the Kool-Aid mixed with vodka, mixed with Jim Beam, mixed with Crown Royal, mixed with, whatever you want to mix it with. But that blue Kool-Aid, that blue Kool-Aid is a flowing. Are you drinking the blue Kool-Aid? As a Bear fan, as a Packer fan, as a Viking fan, are these Lion fans out of control? Is there some juice? Is there some juice to this, all of this hype? The hype train? Is the hype train just a flowing?
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
Let me know. The Kool-Aid, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're drinking the Kool-Aid. Is it Kool-Aid? If it's real? Yeah, absolutely. It's Kool-Aid. It's just really good tasting Kool-Aid. We were drinking the blue Kool-Aid, wanting it to taste good for so many years. You want your Kool-Aid to taste good. You go to the playoffs.
Playoffs.
the the Vikings. That was pretty good purple Kool-Aid winning a division. I like that. That's good tasting purple drink. Purple drink. Purple drink. Yeah. Get that purple drink going. The division winners. But the Lions are the favorites to win the division. Is this too much? Is it too much Kool-Aid? Justin says, I'm smoking the blue Kool-Aid. Drinking is overrated. Yeah. You got that blueberry kush? You got that, yeah. I like that. The blueberry. You like that? Even Kirk Cousins likes that. I like that. Detroit fan man saying, I legit bought blue Kool-Aid this year. It was new, mixed with Tito's bottle. This feels too honest. What? This feels too honest. I'm honest about this team. I feel that that this team is going to be very, very good this year. And I don't think that there's a team in the North that's going to stand up to them this year on that deep defensive line. I think the Bear fans are getting delusional. And then Jeremy B pops back in and says, let's hope that it's laced with sugar and not Splenda this year. Yeah. Yeah. You know, Jeremy, I have had this conversation. I mean, feels different. It feels different from the Lions. I mean, hey, the Lions haven't won nothing. They didn't win anything last year. And I know that there's a bunch of Lion fans that are out here. We're chirping. We're chirping. We feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about them going into this Kansas City game. I feel they have a very good chance to go in there and upset Kansas City. I mean, they have more questions than we do. It's spiked Kool-Aid and it's yummy. And I want to talk about that. I think that the Chiefs have more questions to answer here because this isn't the Super Bowl team. Any truth to the rumors on Mike Williams being traded and they're just agreeing on the year? I've heard several rumors. I don't buy much into the rumors. I put it out there if it gets some steam. But no, I mean, every player. I mean, we were going to get Chris Jones. We're going to get Mike Evans. We're going to get all these different people. We should trade for these people. That ain't Brad Holmes' MO. He didn't want to do that. How disrespectful would that be to Amon-Ra St. Brown to trade for a wide receiver right now and pay him buku money? Amon-Ra St. Brown is the next wide receiver that's going to get a bag here in Detroit. That's just my opinion right there. But what do you think about the Lions going into Kansas City? Week one matchup. I mean, are you feeling pretty good about that? I think they have a lot of questions to answer. They got two new offensive linemen. One of them's not named Orlando Brown. And I mean, how are they going to stop Hutchinson and that defensive line, that deep defensive line? The Lions are going to be able to throw the kitchen sink all game long. They're going to be going after. These guys are going to get tested. They're going to get tested up on that offensive line. They're going to have to try to keep Mahomes clean. The Lions got some DBs now that, might be able to, run and cover for 5 or 6 seconds. And if they can keep Mahomes in a pocket, put him in a box, he's human. And that's how the people that have beaten Mahomes have beaten him. You get pressure on him. You can force any quarterback can be forced into a bad game. And I think that the Lions have a very good chance to beat them. I mean, without Chris Jones, gosh, man, that they're looking. David Montgomery's licking his chops with that offensive line. What are they going to do about Frank Ragnow? What are they going to do about Jonah Jackson and Penei Sewell? Going to run right at those guys. I mean, I think they got some question, but who knows? Lions might get clowned in the first game. I don't know. Joe Williams says that Lions need to run up the middle where Chris Jones was supposed to be. Amen to that. I like that. That's a good call. That's a good call. I mean, and how do you beat Mahomes? You keep him on the damn sideline. Run the football. They don't want to get into this 35-31 type of game with them. That's not the game they want to play. Now if they want to win. If the Lions win this game, it's going to be, I actually think they're going to shock the world. I think it's too much to overcome Aiden Hutchinson and that defensive line. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but that's a lot. That's a lot. Mahomes is going to have a long day, and he's going to have to bring out every bit of his magic if they want to win that game and not get a very hungry Lions team. Let's put it that way. The purple Kool-Aid was sweetened with Splenda, which is why through the playoffs, they were the last playoff team and the last loss to a team that we smoked. Yeah, we did. We beat the crap out of the purple team. The second time that we played them, they blew them off the line of scrimmage. They won the fight. It's so much not about, Jared Goff and Jordan Love and Justin Fields. And it comes up to the guys that are up front. The guys up front win the real fight. And if your guys up front lose the fight, I mean, I don't care who you are. It's going to get to you. I mean, usually the same 5 offensive linemen are there the whole time. I mean, that's a long time to be in a battle. And it usually is the one with the baddest dudes up front that wins the game, regardless of the quarterback. Steve is real. Yeah. Said the Packers was favored by negative 2.5, and now it's the Bears. Now that's at negative 0.5. Okay. Packers are a little less favored now. Is that what that means right there? I think the Packers are going to blow the Bears out. I mean, nothing's really changed on the Packers team. If we're talking about that. I mean, we're talking about these Packers and Bears. I mean, it's war week, baby. It's war week. Packers versus the Bears right there in Soldier Field. The Bear fans they're fired up, man. This is the chance to turn that tide, that ownership, take that ownership back. Taking it back, right? Soldier Field, you got him at home. Jordan Love's first game. Is he going to be nervous? Oh, I don't think he's going to be nervous at all. You know what they're going to do? They're going to run the football right at that weak defensive line. Boom, run. Aaron Jones, hand it off to Dillon, hand it off to Jones. And then they're going to hit Watson on a long play because you guys are going to have to sell out to stop the run because you can't stop the run. I mean, your DBs are good. You got a good backfield, but that's not going to stop Aaron Jones. Aaron Rodgers being gone, he don't play defense. I think it's going to be a hard road to go for the Chicago Bears this year. Jordan says it's not just hype. The division rivals are putting some respect on the Lions name. Mahomes too. Yeah, they should be. They should be putting respect on the name, and they got to go out and earn it. I mean, they got to put a full season together here in Detroit. They do. I mean, you can't start out 1-6 and and expect to be like that. All right, let me see here. We got main event Mike on the line. What's going on, Mike? What's going on?
What's up?
Hello?
Yeah.
All right, we're live on the show. What's going on, brother? No? Oh, Mike I guess Mike is in in an undisclosed area that apparently doesn't have any cell phone link. So
You like that?
don't like that so much. Back into these comments right here. Not just type. Okay, let's see. John says KC will destroy the Lions. Okay. I mean, that's what everybody thinks is going to happen. But the thing is when you look at it player for player, they got Mahomes. Mahomes is a better quarterback than Goff. I mean, there's no doubt. But there's 53 men on a team. And the Lions use all their teams. The Lions have the deepest team, maybe in the NFL, from 1 to 53. The roster is unbelievable when you think of it from the defensive line perspective. It blows my mind. And defensive backfield. They got players. They got players that have proven it already. Jason says, take the Lions and the points and make some money, folks. Yeah. 6.5 points. Do you like money or do you like to talk shit? I mean, if you like money, the Lions are going to play that game closer than 6 points. Go get that money. Go get that money. It's going to be a long game. It's going to be a long game for KC because they are going to limit possessions. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring of a game. I don't think either team's going to score 30 points. John says that we're going to win 35-28. So John thinks that we will score 35 points. There will be a team goes over 30 points. It's going to be the Lions, right?
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
Let's go. Let's go, Eric. Eric, there's a good chance of an upset. I don't think that KC is prepared for what we, the Lions, are going to bring right out of the gate. If the Zebras call it fair, we stand a good chance. Let's not put the excuses in there, but I believe in that. I believe in that. It's prime for an upset. There's no football reasons I can't think with the players that they have, with the things they have in place, that they don't have every bit of a good a chance to win that game as KC does. I think KC's overhyped. They lost a lot, and they're going to be without their best defensive player. Kneecap, Jeremy B. says, there has been no confirmed report out of Allen Park about any trade for a superstar. Yeah, it's all smoke. It's not what Brad Holmes does. He doesn't overpay guys. He doesn't go get some dude from the outside that he thinks is going to come in and make a difference. Even if they did trade for a guy, he'd have to earn his spot on the team. They've been very clear about that stuff. Nothing's been given to any of the guys, which is why it's so awesome that Brian Branch is the starting nickel corner, because if he is the starting nickel corner, he earned that spot as a rookie on a loaded secondary. There's talk that Brian Branch might be the best defensive player on our team right now. And that's not a rip. That's not a rip. John says Montgomery, LOL, he's horrible. Well, that's just not true. David Montgomery led the league along with Nick Chubb in broken tackle rate. That means that he can make people miss. And he played for the Bears last year, John. He played for the Bears. How about that offensive line, baby? Let's go. You're going to eat. Packers are going to eat. Rashawn Gary's going to eat this week. Preston Smith is going to eat. They're going to get Luke Van Ness in there. Is he going to eat too? I think the Bears got an uphill climb. I don't care if it's in Soldier Field. Jeffrey says that blitz rarely, use our man coverage and keep Mahomes in the pocket. Well, yeah, that's easier said than done. But yeah,
It's my quarterback.
Mahomes is he's the tribal chief, man.
Acknowledge me.
That's Patrick Mahomes. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to wear a jacket. He's going to wear a gold one because he's got 2 Super Bowls. He's been in 3. I mean, this guy's dominated the league. He's dominated the league. He's done it with anybody. You know, nobody thought he was going to do it last year, and he did. So that's why this is a franchise-altering game. This is a franchise. This is an NFC North altering game. If the Lions win this game, that it's NFC North altering. I mean, if they lose the game, then, we're in the spot where everybody thinks that they're going to be, where they think that the Lions are going to play this close game and they're going to lose, and everyone's going to go, yay, look at how the Lions, they almost did it against a good team. We're almost good. Knock it off with that stuff. This is a bigger game for the Lions to win this game. I'm not going to call it a must win, but what do you want to be, Lion fan? I mean, are you okay going into this game and losing and, give him a pat on the back for trying real hard against the champs? You okay with them being Apollo Creed? No, we're going to give the little guy Rocky almost won in Rocky 1. No, we don't want to be Rocky from the first one where we almost won. I want to be Clubber Lang from the first fight in Rocky 3, where he was like, hey, boy, you've been ducking me. You've been ducking me, boy. Come on. Been ducking. Everyone is underselling this Lions team. I think they have a chance to make a statement. It's a franchise-altering, NFC North altering game. And if they lose it, it's not. It's just a game that they lost, and everybody knew that they were going to lose it, right? Every 3 or 4 years with new regimes, you come to a crossroad of a game like this. They did a couple of things last year that maybe make you think that they can be good this year. They ended really, really well. That defense ended really well. They played well down the stretch. They didn't play like the 29th ranked defense down the stretch. They played like a top 10 defense down the stretch. They were 8-2 down the stretch. Which Lions team is going to show up? Can they put a whole stretch together? 17 games like they finished. And if they can, this is a team to reckon with for years, because that offensive line signed for the next couple years. The defensive line signed. Got some guys. Jason says, forget about kneecaps. Take the whole KC leg lamp. Yeah. I'm saying that they lost to the Giants. They did. Minnesota Vikings.
You like that?
We crushed the Giants. We crushed the Vikings. Man, it's too bad they started 1-6. Because it's definitely not the same team that was 1-6. I mean, they fire Aubrey Pleasant, and then they get some guys back. Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker. We were missing some guys. We dealt with the injury bug. It's not an excuse. You started 1-6. But the emergence of James Houston and the rookie pass rushers. This is a real team. Todd Super Ginger says, didn't Montgomery lead the league last year in yards after contact? He did. And you know what? Another interesting stat is the Lions offensive line gave running backs 4 yards before contact, which is one of the reasons that they let Jamal Williams go. Because he didn't do much after that. He got his 4 yards that the line gave to him. He had some good games last year. He played well. He was able to do well, but Montgomery definitely has more ability than Jamal Williams in being able to break tackles. I think he's licking his chops with his skill set behind this offensive line. So, yes, that's a great point.
You like that?
That's spitting facts right there from Todd. Jason says that the spread, Care Bears, favored by 1.5 and 2, LOL. They usually favor the home team. I think that they say that adds like an extra, it's like a point swing or a half point swing. You just get that half point because you at home. And the Packers got a lot to prove there. They got a lot of young playmakers. And I mean, the defense is still pretty much the defense. That's what you saw. You're going to add Rashawn Gary to that. You know, they drafted a pass rusher in the first round. I can't see it, man. I don't know. The Bears are, injured offensive linemen even from the front. I mean, Nate Davis practiced. I mean, is he even playing? So, Bear Down Mike says, I know Khalil Herbert led the league in yards per carry. Okay. Khalil Herbert was in a backfield where there was lots of sharing going on. But I like Khalil Herbert. I think that he's going to be a good running back. I think with the opportunity this year, I drafted him on my fantasy league. So I think that he's going to be good. I think he'll get yards. Joe says that if the Lions running backs get past KC's running backs, Gibbs and Monty will destroy their safeties. Yeah, there's a lot of questions on the back end of that defense. With Kansas City, they don't have Chris Jones. That is a big loss for them. They don't have Chris Jones. Steve is real. Yeah. Isn't this a song? Stop the run. Can't stop the run. Stop the run. Can't stop the run. I don't know. I think it was there's a Pink Floyd song called Run. Run, 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 run. Yeah. Bear Down Mike says, Russ, it's still Andy Reid, Mahomes, and Kelsey. If the Lions have any chance of winning, cannot have turnovers, the Lions defense needs to show up. I believe it. It's Andy Reid, Mahomes, and Kelsey. And the only thing that destroys that is a pass rush. They need to get to him. They need to stop the run. And they need to get pressure on Mahomes. Try to keep him contained in the pocket. I mean, that's exactly the way that they're going to attack him. The reason that the Lions drafted Jack Campbell, 6'5", in the middle of that defense, like from a coverage standpoint, Jack Campbell's one of the best linebackers to come out in the last 10 years for coverage, sideline to sideline guy. So they drafted Jack Campbell for tight ends like Kelsey. Now, I don't know if it's going to work, but I know they made the moves to try to get better at covering tight ends. But yeah, that's a scary proposition. The Lions were not good last year at covering tight ends at all. But, Brad Holmes has made these moves to counteract that stuff. Now, I know it remains to be seen whether these moves work, but Brad Holmes got a pretty good track record so far. I mean, the fact that, I think that there's only one draft pick that isn't on the team right now of all of his picks that isn't on the team in some form. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a crazy hit rate for a GM. All young players. Detroit fan man. I think we're going to give another crack here at getting main event Mike on the line. Let's see if we can get this going. All right.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
All right. I can hear you now. I don't know why I'm having all kinds of connection issues today.
I don't know. We handled it. We've had a very good conversation here about the Lions' chances. And I'm arguing here that that Kansas City has more questions than we do. And it's crazy to think that a Super Bowl team, but you lost Orlando Brown. You got two new offensive linemen. You're missing your best defensive player. It's like, what are they going to do about our pass rush, man? I mean, I think we're going to be a problem.
No doubt about it. I mean, Isaiah Buggs is a solid defensive lineman. He's a healthy scratch for only one reason. We're so deep on the defensive line. And with 2 new tackles, we're going to be giving them fits. The challenge is going to be to keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, right? If he gets outside the pocket and he gets free range, you can't expect your DBs to cover for 4 or 5 seconds. That's just too long. So, yeah, I think they've got more questions for sure because they've lost their number 1 receiver in Juju Smith-Schuster. Who's going to emerge as the number 1? We already know that Amon-Ra St. Brown is our number 1. So that's just to your point, Russ. Less questions for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to say that because, Bear Down Mike comes in and he was just like, and this is fair. I can't take anything away from this statement right here. Russ, it's still Andy Reid, Mahomes, and Kelsey, if the Lions have a chance of winning, cannot have turnovers. And I agree with that. It's still Patrick Mahomes, dude. It's still Travis Kelsey. I mean, wow. I still.
Yes, but what we're saying is more holes. Who has more question marks? I think undoubtedly for this game, it's got to be that Patrick Mahomes, that Andy Reid that you're saying, because look, it takes a whole team to win in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is great, but you take just a few of those pieces away and it changes the entire game plan. It changes the way offenses attack your defenses, and it changes the way defenses attack your offense. So absolutely big question marks there for the Chiefs. Sure, they might come out and truck stick us 30-0. That might be the final. And then Bear Down Mike is right. But going into the game, and for what we're talking about, unquestionably the Lions have probably least question marks than any team in the league, least holes than any team in the league. I mean, we were trying to figure out who we were going to cut,
right?
Just because our team is so deep all the way across the roster. So to the point is who has more questions. I think it's arguably it's Kansas City.
And that's crazy. That's crazy talk to me. But it is true. And here's the thing. If the Lions get truck stick 30-0, that's going to break my spirit. I mean, that would totally break my spirit with that because I believe that this team is ready to not be a 9-7 team or a 9-8 team. They're a better team than 9-8 when I'm looking at it. And if they don't go out and get this test, this is such a big test. This is such a big game for the NFC North all around for the test. If they just go out there and get real close and not win, then there you go. You got a 9-8, 10-7. But this is this is a team that could be better than that. Can actually go out and win that playoff game if they can win a game like this.
What I like the most about it, Russ, is the coaching staff, former players, comprised of mostly former players. Dan Campbell was on the 08 Lions that went 0-16. Okay, you talk about adversity. Aaron Glenn played on some horrible New York Jets teams for years. He was the one Pro Bowl guy they had on their team when their team stunk. So these guys know what it's like to face adversity, and losing the first game to the Super Bowl champs, they're going to have these guys ready to roll with 10 days rest to play Seattle. Losing to Kansas City in week 1 is not the end of the world. Guess what? The Bears and the Packers, they got to play the Chiefs too.
And I don't want to be on here homering the whole damn time here. So I will change lanes right here. And you wanted to bring up something right here. And I agree. I threw a post up. It did get a lot of engagement. So I know it may be a touchy subject to some people, but this NFL scripted thing, I wanted you to throw your thoughts out there about the NFL being quote unquote scripted.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really heavy-handed accusation, in my opinion. It totally devalues all of the work that these guys put into winning. Believe me, these guys want to win. And sure, there might be an official on the take. Maybe there's some great narrative that the league tells the officials, hey, we want the Rams to win this. But they don't control Tyreek Hill running back a kickoff for a touchdown. Okay, maybe they'll come up with a penalty to call it back. But that isn't scripted. It's not like wrestling, which is totally scripted, right? They know who's going to win. They've practiced all the moves. Everyone's in on it. Hell, even the audience knows it's not real. And that's why there's no betting on it in Las Vegas. To infer that the NFL is on that level where it's all scripted is an absolute slap in the face. Worked so hard for their fans. And Las Vegas, and then also, if it were to get out, if the NFL were tainted, they'd lose everything that they have. It's the one thing, it's called the integrity of the game, and this is why we see suspension to Jamison Williams be so punitive. 6 whole games for betting on non-football game in the parking lot of a hotel, right? I mean, it's because of that thing that they can't allow any shadow of a doubt that the game is on the take. Otherwise, they lose everything they've built. It's a ridiculous narrative, and I think people who are reaching for that are just looking for something.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, on the maybe conspiracy on a level of referees maybe doing something at the end of the game to sway one way or another is about the most I would ever go when it comes to bets and swaying point stuff like that. I think that corruption like that has been there and it's always been there. And that is what it is. And they even try to flush that stuff out too. And so I think it's a ridiculous notion as well. I mean, these guys do. They work hard. They work way too hard. And you watch the passion.
And one thing's for sure, if there are NFL script writers, they aren't Lions fans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've never been on our side. And right here, I put up your beautiful mug right here for what a great show it was last night on the NFC North open mic. We got overtaken by Packer fans. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the arrogance of Packer fans. And Robert had said something last night that said that the Lions had to take the division back from them. And we called them out for it. And I want to know if there's any Viking fans that are out there. For one, shame on you for not coming and defending that point, that you allowed a Packer fan to say that we had to take the division from them and we didn't get a Jameis. We didn't get anybody. It was a witness protection for the Minnesota Vikings. So that tells me that you don't even really believe in your team. You know your team's going to be at the bottom of the division. Shame on you for not coming and defending yourself. And you might just not be a fan of my show because I tear into you all the time, but too bad.
How ridiculous is that, though, that a team that finished third in the division, this guy has the gall to come and say, you got to come and win the division back from us. What? What are you talking? Dude, you didn't even win the division. Stop it. That was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard.
Yeah, and Matt LaFleur is 1-3 versus Dan Campbell. So, and I don't think that that's a trend that's going to change. I mean, I do think they have a good starting defense in Green Bay. I think they do have a good starting offensive line and running game. Jordan Love can be what Jordan Love is, but even that team with Aaron Rodgers last year was 8-9. And I don't think they're going to be that much better than that in this year. But, they have high expectations. And, but you finished third.
As intriguing as the Lions versus the Chiefs is in week 1, I think it's hands down more interesting, the Packers and the Bears in week 1, to really see where these young quarterbacks are at after another offseason and another training camp. And see if there's been, and now DJ Moore being in Chicago, it's going to be very interesting to see if Justin Fields has taken a step or if he's right where he left off or if he's even regressed. This guy could not throw the ball accurately last year. He ran like a nightmare, and he's very slippery back there in the pocket. But I'm going to be so intrigued to see if he comes out and throws the ball well against a good Green Bay Packers defense. And then on the other side, the intrigue, this is Jordan Love's first meaningful start, his first meaningful snaps, and you're playing the team that finished last in the league last year. So the schedule makers were very kind to you, Jordan Love, to give you the Bears in week 1. Let's see what you can do with it. I think, to me, that is the most intriguing matchup across the board as I look at all of these slates of games for week 1. Bears, Packers, war week. These two teams hate each other. It's going to be super, super interesting.
And it is war week, everybody. And I want you to get your predictions in there for war week. And I've been writing down the people that come on to the show and what their predictions are. And we want to hear what your predictions are. So you got the Packers coming to Soldier Field. I think there's like a 2-point swing. And in Vegas, who do you got? What's your score for this war week game between Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers? What is the score? Personally, I don't know let me see if I can pull out some of these from last night and see what kind of predictions that we did have. We had John Dorn predicting 32-13 Packers over the Bears. Robert said 37-10. And main event Mike, what'd you say? 20-10. Okay. And I said 28-10. Mike the Bear says 2017 Bears. And then A-Dub said 21-17 Packers. So our little panel last night, only one Bear fan that was on there. And I got to salute you, Bear fan Mike. You came out there in front of all those Packer fans and you took it. You took everything that they had. And I appreciate you for that. Because the game's still got to be played. And you have to do that. So what are your predictions? Throw that into the comments right there. Okay, John says Chiefs 34, Lions 27. That's a pretty respectful score there, brother. Not bad. Mike says that Green Bay 24, Chicago 10. Kneecap biting. Detroit Lions, Jeremy B says 31-27 Lions over Chiefs.
I like that. I like that score. Something about that strikes me as accurate.
Detroit Fan Man says, any other Lions fans excited to see Charles Harris as the team captain with Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Panay, Anzalone, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, Hutch, and Harrison bought to introduce themselves? Yeah.
I love it. Charles Harris, Aaron Glenn said we totally should be back to 2021 form. And if that happens, oh, man, he's going to be a terror out there. He's a former #1 draft pick. You've got him, James Houston, Josh Pascal, Aiden Hutchinson. You've got plenty of heat coming from the edge. If Charles Harris can return to his 2021 form when he had what do you have, 7.5 sacks that year? I mean, that's going to be a huge contribution for this defense moving forward. Because let's face it, that defense is where this team needs to improve. And a bounce back year from Charles Harris could be just what the doctor ordered.
John says Lions corners are as big. Sutton, LOL. Yeah. We got some short corners, don't we? A couple of them, but they play good. Sutton's a proven corner. Sutton's been nothing but solid every year of his career, and he's sticky. He's sticky. He's a very smart player. So go ahead and undersell Sutton. That's fine. But that's a good player, right?
Very smart player. And the coaching staff in Pittsburgh said he's the smartest player they've ever coached. Football IQ, smartest player they've ever coached. That was the DB's coach in Pittsburgh when he left there. So Definitely, you watched the interview with him that was on Media Sessions this week, and you could just tell the guy is super smart. And when you've got high intelligence, high football IQ at the cornerback position, it's really hard to fool them. And a lot of these offensive plays that are predicated on misdirection and foolery, chicanery, they're not going to fly with guys like Cam Sutton.
So one funky Lions fan says, I think Bugs is being used as an example. I think he's not giving 100% to the team and a new message to the team. And even if you got a new deal, you still have to earn your spot. I'm going to disagree with that. I think that Bugs got beat out by Benito Jones. And it is what it is. It is competition. And Benito Jones was repping ahead of him in the games. We were asking questions at the end why Bugs was in the fourth quarter of these preseason games. It's just because he got leaped on the depth chart. He's feeling, he got the Twitter and he was feeling a certain way about it. And that is what it is. I mean, if the competition is so fierce that Benito Jones was the one that was making the plays, good for Benito Jones. Good for Levi Onwuzurike for trying to live up to that number, that second round draft pick. So no, I don't think it's not 100% thing. I don't think that's it at all. I think Isaiah Bugs is a great player that just got jumped on the depth chart. What do you think about that, Mike? Did I lose you? Uh-oh. Man, connection issues.
Yeah, I'm back. Hey, sorry, I heard you.
Yeah. But
I think Isaiah Bugs, it's the end of the story. 48-man roster. You got 53, but you can only dress 48.
Right.
We're super deep at the defensive line. He's a waiver wire guy to begin with. Yeah, he played great for us last year, and we love him and all. But we picked him up off the scrap heap. And you take a guy that we drafted like Lee McNeil, Levi Onwuzurike, they beat him out in camp, and now he's a healthy scratch. There's a lot of talk out there that maybe we're using him as trade bait. Maybe we're going to trade him even to the Chiefs to offset their loss of Chris Jones. I just don't think there's that much into it. We could be wrong, obviously, but I just don't see that much. I just think it's a matter that, hey, we're deep on the D-line. You're last in the pecking order. Yep. Benito Jones might not be as good a defensive tackle as Isaiah Bugs, but he's a special teams guy. He's a leader of the special teams. So, to have a defensive lineman on your special teams, you got to be very athletic. Right. So he brings a lot to the table in terms of that.
And that's cool. And I'm glad that, the team's deep enough that they have multiple uses for all of these guys. So it's like their contingency plans, even with guys moving around, is really cool. I love the way that they talk about those types of things too. But Paul says that I honestly think that it's an organization where billions flow through Vegas, not including the league revenues that itself, and then you're fooling yourself. No one but you said anything about the WWE type of said fixed players for years. Have said it's true. Yeah, it is definitely the conspiracy guy. You know who that guy is. He's sitting over in the corner. He's like, yeah, I know about all these extra things and all these backhanded. I mean, it's weird. There's no, I don't put any stock into it being like the WWE. I think that's way too far. That's way too overboard. And I don't know if you're accusing us of saying that. We're not starting that rumor. I just I asked if they thought that that it was scripted. I mean, there's no wrong in asking a question. I mean, it's something that's gotten a lot of answers to. You have people that agree with it. You have people that don't agree with it, and then there's a whole slew of people like you that just say that's a stupid question. I think that's all true.
You like that?
Thank you for the comment. Kneecap biting Jeremy B says, so what if Love's favorite player is Joseph, since the Packers think he's as good as Rodgers?
You like that?
Thank you, Jeremy B. Oh, Detroit fan man. Any other Lions fans? Okay, I already put that one out there. Okay. I have to get back up to the beginning here. So we got some other predictions here. Chad says 27-21 Detroit. That's kind of where I'm at, Chad. I like that score. That's a good.
You like that?
If the Lions were to win the game, that's what they would have to do to beat the Chiefs, because you got to run the ball and you're going to have to limit Mahomes. That's part of the way of keeping him off the field. So I like that call. Tyler says, I expect CJGJ to be all over Kelsey. One interception, likely, as Mahomes will try to force it to him. 35-28, Lions win, right side of the turnover battle. It's a great call.
You like that?
You like that one? I like that.
I like it.
I like that one. Steve is real. Yeah. Chiefs win 27-21. Point spread 6.5. Oh, yeah. They're right on.
He's saying take the Lions in the points, but they're not going to win the game. That's the same take that I had. I think it's going to be close. Lions lose a close one. They show up, they play hard, they make it close, but there are no moral victories.
Jeremy's coming in and says that Bugs is benched for skipping practice. Bugs missed practice for a family emergency. And I think that that's the thing that is being thrown out there with Isaiah Bugs, like why he felt a certain way is that they benched him because he went and did something with his family. That's why he missed practice. And that's not, I mean, I guess that's skipping practice, but that would be very insensitive for that. I think Benito Jones was repping ahead of him, though, Jeremy. He was playing better than him in the entire preseason. It wouldn't surprise me if Benito Jones is just ahead of him on the depth chart straight up, whether he skipped practice or not. But you could be right. I mean, maybe we're insensitive pricks like that, like the previous regimes, and they actually don't care about their guys. I guess that could be true, but I doubt it. I don't think. Don't forget 46 on the active roster. 2 from practice squad call-ups each week. Okay. That's 48 total. All right. So Dom says that I think it's going to be very close game, and it depends on our defense. That's a good call.
You like that?
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So Jeremy says that he knows more to it. He's got some inside information. Well, if it has to do with him, with them being like that, I don't know if I really want to know about that. I haven't heard anything like that. DC is holding players accountable. Love to see it. I didn't think that Bugs was gonna make the team. Well, and maybe he is. Maybe Bugs flipped. I mean, that could be possible. You know, that's what happens in competition. You know, he got an extension. He was probably feeling pretty good, right? You got an extension. Oh, yeah, these guys believe in me. And then it was still a battle. I mean, I think that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are the same guys. I think they've been the same guys since day one. And that's a good thing. And, you know, and other guys were right there with them, playing, maybe outworking them. And if he did slow down, like Jeremy B says, they would. That's exactly what they would do. Okay. So, defense wins championships. I mean, I love having a high power offense, but it's true. Defense wins the games. I remember that game when Jim Schwartz was, I mean, this is back there a little bit. And they played the San Francisco 49ers. And that was the handshake and hit him on the back real hard and get all mad. I remember that game so much because I was like, man, I wish we were the San Francisco 49ers in that game, because I want the hard-nosed team that don't give a crap who your big players are. And the Lions have that team now. They don't care. That's why we the villains. We don't care what you think. We got big, bad dudes that are badder than your big, bad dudes. We got some fast guys and some, sexy, fast running dudes doing high flying stuff. We got those guys too. But our bad dudes are badder than your bad dudes.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn said in his press conference, I was always taught big guys beat up little guys. So we got a bunch of big guys.
We got a bunch of big guys. It isn't about Jared Goff, guys. It's about our big guys allowing Jared Goff to do what Jared Goff does the best, which is manage an offense from a clean pocket. He's really good at it. Now, do I want to see Jared Goff running outside the pocket? Oh, there goes Goff with the ball. I'm just holding my breath. I do not want to see Goff running anywhere. I want to see.
You got it.
What's that?
Oh, go ahead.
I don't want to see Jared Goff running. That's why we got big, bad dudes that are badder than your big, bad dudes. That's where the confidence comes from. It doesn't come from me thinking Goff's going to be good or Amon-Ra St. Brown.
By the power of Ra.
I mean, it's nice. I like that we have an offense that can score, but it's our defense. It's our defense. I agree, Paul Jones says. Champions are won at the line of scrimmage.
That gets to Kirk Cousins.
You like that?
John Dorn says Packers will have a better offensive line this season. Book it. Yeah, you got to prove that first, John. You got to show me some evidence of that, John. That your offense is good. Your offensive line is going to be that much better. Why do I got to book it? You got to prove it, John.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
Our defensive line is going to be relentless coming at you for 4 quarters. But you need to worry about the Chicago Bears first. And you got to worry about us. Who is better, Calvin Johnson or Herman Moore? Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson. I'm sorry. I mean, I think that Herman Moore, second best wide receiver in Lions history. I'll get that for right now, but Amon-Ra's coming for that. Calvin Johnson was one of one. There ain't nobody that dominated the league in receiving for a 6-year stretch like Calvin Johnson did. I mean, there was no question for the 6 years that Calvin Johnson was primed that he was the best wide receiver in the NFL. No question.
Unstoppable.
Nobody questioned it. Nobody questioned it in the national media. Nobody questioned it anywhere. 6 years, he was the best. The best. It was Calvin Johnson and then a bunch of other guys. Every year.
Well, when you take a receiver number 2 overall, he better be.
Yeah. And he lived up to the billing. And, I really do believe that regime got hamstrung by the cap changing in the middle of the primes of those things, to where we had 3 players that were on old school contracts that handicapped the team from getting better outside of those 3 players. I mean, you paid Ndamukong Suh like a quarterback because he was drafted 2 overall. You paid Calvin Johnson like a quarterback because he was drafted 2 overall. And then you drafted a quarterback at 1, and you had to pay him like a quarterback. So I don't think that any team could build a team around paying 3 guys like they pay Patrick Mahomes. Sorry, just doesn't work like that. They could never get that good. I mean, there's no way you can build depth with a team like that, especially when you can't draft. So Calvin was better. Herman Moore was on a better team. Okay. Hope that answers your question. All right.
Yeah, and think about the offense that Herman Moore played in. I mean, that was the only time that you had, 3 receivers with 1,000 yards?
Yeah.
It's unheard of. Johnny Morton, Herman Moore, and Brett Perriman. I mean, that's a run and shoot. They threw the ball 80% of the time. I mean, it's almost not fair. Herman Moore's stats to me are almost they're bloated because of that offense. I'm not taking anything away. He was a great wide receiver. I loved him coming out of Virginia. I loved the pick. He was one of the all-time great Detroit Lions. So I'm not taking anything away from him. But if you're going to compare his career to some other wide receivers, it's definitely he's a product of the system to get a lot of those numbers. And I know he's beloved here in Detroit. I know he's involved in the podcast world, so I'm probably killing myself by saying it. But I'll tell you what. That offense, Johnny Morton and Brett Perriman also had 1,000 yards receiving in that offense. So what's that tell you?
Well, I mean, the thing is I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, comparing Calvin Johnson to Herman Moore, I don't think that even Herman Moore would be like, you're an asshole for saying Calvin Johnson's better than me. It's like, I think that he knows what type of player Calvin Johnson was, and take nothing away. Herman Moore was a great wide receiver. I mean, there's take nothing away from that career. But Jason said that Calvin Johnson left the Lions hanging early in his career. Just saying, that's personal, bro. That's fine. I mean, so did Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders left him more high and dry than Calvin did. I think Barry Sanders like wait till after training camp was over? It's like, okay, nope. Peace. And then it was like, man, we spent 3 years going, is it coming back? Barry's coming back this year, right, Mike?
Yeah, and we're just opening the door for these Lion haters to say that we wasted their careers, but that's okay.
That's all right. I mean, they didn't win anything. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings wasted Randy Moss's career. So, I mean, yeah, you have to win the big game. Let's see. Lonnie says Herman Moore is my favorite, but Johnson is crazy talented, above everyone on earth. There's no doubt, man. It was amazing. That dude would catch a ball over 3 people. He was a man amongst boys. It was really cool to see. I mean, even if you were an opposing team, I mean, how much respect could you give on that name? No matter what he did afterwards. You know, I mean, yeah, nobody wants to go out like that. Maybe the Lions did him wrong, but when he was there with Stafford, that 6 years was magical. But go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I thought I lost you, but you're back.
I'm back. A-Dub, great to see you on here, A-Dub. I can only wonder who would have a better choice between a prime Randy Moss and a prime Calvin Johnson to win with. Calvin Johnson was one of one. I love Randy Moss is great too. Like, God, I hate this is like the LeBron and Jordan comps here. Okay, let's have the conversation. Now, Calvin Johnson was just built different. You can't. I think they're equal receivers. Calvin Johnson's better because he's the body. You know,
but Randy Moss was better at not getting hurt. Calvin Johnson would throw his body with reckless abandon, crash to the ground, and get up limping so many times because to make the catch, he would sacrifice his body. Randy Moss had stopped running. Randy Moss would run out of bounds. Now, natural route running and catching ability, I think Randy Moss is only up there with Jerry Rice. I think those two are right up there ahead of Calvin Johnson and pure wide receiver. They're ahead of Calvin. But Calvin with the body, Megatron, he's so big and so fast. And he tried and competed so hard. And I think that was his downfall. Always playing on artificial turf in Detroit, tore his body up. And he retired just so he could walk later in life. I don't hold that against him at all. For Barry Sanders, he wants to win so badly. And the team was going through another build. He's in his 10th year. And he says, I'm not willing to go out like this. You know, I
Right.
see my colleagues and the guys I look up to who can barely talk and walk because they've taken so many headshots. Barry says, why should I endure that anymore? So I don't blame him either for walking away for this garbage franchise at the time.
Yeah, but when I'm like you brought up those, it's the physical things. It's like Calvin was one of one, and you can't teach what he had. It was like having, a basketball league where, the average height, you got a bunch of 6'5" dudes, and then, Calvin's the 7'5" dude. He was just a man amongst boys for that. Randy Moss didn't have that. Randy Moss was skilled beyond skill. Skill. Like Calvin Johnson was skill mixed with a body that no one had. Like it was great. I am so appreciative to have been alive during the time that Calvin Johnson played. I mean,
and it's interesting. I never thought of it before, but the Calvin Johnson and LeBron James comparison is very interesting because you could easily plug in LeBron James's name for what you just said about Calvin Johnson.
right.
His body style, no one could stop him.
Nope.
I mean, that's LeBron James right
Yep.
there. When he came into the league 6'8", 260, he come down the lane like a freight train. No one can stop him. It
Right.
makes you wonder why he didn't keep on doing that in his whole career.
Okay. I see. I argue on that one back in the 80s. They were like, yeah, LeBron wouldn't have done nothing in the 80s. I think LeBron would have been surprised in the 80s for about 2 weeks. And then when he realized that he was allowed to actually use that 260-pound body with all that speed and everything, he would have taken the league over. I think it would have been LeBron versus Jordan, like for years, because his body is different. But let's get into that on a different day right here. Sarah chimes in.
Horn would have fouled the hell out of him.
Yeah, that would have been fun. 260-pound dude getting fouled. So I wish that the NFL would put a script for us to win the Super Bowl.
You like that?
Sarah, I love having you on here as a Viking fan. You represent your team very well. Thank you for the comment.
Yeah, Viking fans can't believe that it's scripted at all. That can't be the script for the Vikings. Come on.
No, I mean, it was in the script to have the Lions not win a championship since '57. Come on. That's bullshit. Then I want a rewrite.
You've had enough of that shit.
Oh gosh, Calvin.
I mean, are the NFL script writers in a room snickering? Okay, we're gonna let the Vikings get to the Super Bowl. Well, check this out. They don't win again.
Excellent.
You know, it's almost like that time we let the Buffalo Bills get to the Super Bowl 4 times and let them lose. Like, come on, the whole thing is ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, and they just love the Packers so much, and then Tom Brady. They love Tom Brady. Oh gosh.
Yeah. They're sitting around. They're figuring how they're going to fix the schedule. They're smoking weed, and they're like, "Okay, we're going to let Tom Brady win the Super Bowl with Tampa now."
Oh, Eric Hipples, the Lions QB, was the GOAT. Changed my mind.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Barry Sanders had issues with his family. Okay.
Yeah, his dad. That's my favorite. When Barry's going into the Hall of Fame, his dad goes, "Well, he's no Jim Brown." Thanks, Dad.
Oh gosh. A-Dub, if the NFL was scripted, the Packers wouldn't have won multiple Super Bowls with Aaron, or that would have won multiple Super Bowls with Aaron Rodgers. Okay.
Okay.
AJ Sake says Barry Sanders retired partly because of his son.
Oh, I didn't know anything about that. I've never even heard that before. Please elaborate.
Kneecap biting says statistically Stafford, Scott Mitchell, and then Bobby Lane, honorable mention, Gary Daniels, and then Eric Hipple. So Jeremy B with the correct list and get it right. All right.
Soon to be Jared Goff.
Soon to be Jared Goff. Yep. Bear down, Mike. Calvin Johnson was the definition of elite player. Too bad he was on the Lions. Oh gosh, yeah. If he would have went to a better team with a better contract, I really do believe that those 3 contracts are what crippled. I almost feel bad for Martin Mayhew for having to navigate that. You know what I mean? Like that's like you're starting behind the 8 ball. I mean, the equivalent is paying 3 quarterbacks right now. Imagine having like a Viking fan. Imagine having Kirk Cousins times 3. You got 3. Oh, wait, you do have that already. TJ Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, and Kirk Cousins. Okay, never mind. Welcome to hell.
Yeah. Too bad he played for the Lions. Right. If Calvin would have played for the Bears, there'd be a giant statue of him in Grant Park.
Yeah.
He'd single-handedly be the greatest receiver they've ever seen. They'd all be wearing Calvin jerseys. They would be arguing. I mean, their receivers over the years have been pathetic. So I can see why Bears fans might think that is
Calvin Johnson was so good he could make Justin Fields look like a good passer. All right. Paul Jones says, big respect to those who walked away before being carried away. Hall of Fame agrees. There you go. Thank you. Sometimes I'm using my mouse and my "you like that" button, so sometimes I forget to give them the "you like that." Bear down, Mike Johnson got tired of losing and doing all the work. Don't blame the guy for leaving. Yeah, I agree with Bear down, Mike on that.
You like that?
It was
all Lions fans can agree with that.
I really don't like it when people quit on a team like that. I did feel some sort of way about it, but when you find out, you know, the way that Matt Patricia was, you know, in the locker rooms and stuff like that, you know,
it was hard being a fan of the team. I couldn't imagine being the best player on the team. That would be really hard to go into another year knowing you're not going to win the division or be relevant.
Right. And all the other teams are getting better around you, and you're signing all mid-tier dudes, not drafting your second round picks or shit. Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah.
One funky Lions fans, crazy to think that the definition of an elite wide receiver would not include catching 60% of their targets more than one time. Calvin has only caught 60% of his targets one time in his career. Just FYI.
Well, that's awfully hard to get the ball on the money when you're throwing from your butt. Okay, it's really hard for Matt Stafford. He was under duress every snap of every play. And just to get it there that many times is pretty amazing. I got to jump off, Russ. Can I plug the show?
Yeah, always.
NB's NFC Open Mic Night. NFC North Open Mic Night every Monday at 7 p.m. broadcasting live into Facebook. Don't forget, it's the return of the Main Event 365 podcast show every Thursday. Anywhere where you find your podcast. God bless you.
Awesome. That's Main Event Mike. Main Event Mike. That's the open mic each and every Monday night. And thank you for last night. That was a lot of fun last night. And actually, the trash talk's starting to heat up a little bit because the season's just right around the corner. And we got some good stuff. I'm going to throw the link out there because, you know, I don't have to be done quite yet. I got a few minutes in here. And it feels pretty good. It feels good to know that the season's right around the corner. St. Brown will not be better than AJ. I think I missed some comments in here. NFL script writers can stay on strike. There we go. One funky Lions fan says that St. Brown will be the best wide receiver that the Lions have ever had. Dude catches everything. I mean, I can't like just disagree with that. Just straight up disagree with that. All right, Woody, welcome to the program, Woody.
What's up, bud?
What's going on? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm trying to go back here and hit some of these picks. What you want to talk about?
Oh, I don't know. This Bears Packers game.
Okay.
I'm getting to think here that, you know, Bears are going to have a problem with that defensive line and with the off. I mean, you know, with Jenkins out, you know, we'll see if this Feeney guy, works out. But yeah, I'm getting kind of I was a little bit confident yesterday that since it was at home and then Justin Fields has to prove stuff and then he got all these weapons, I'm thinking, man, they might go out and pull one out and stuff like that. But after all I've been seeing and hearing and stuff like that, man, I'm a mess right now. I'm like my head's spinning.
Well, I mean, the thing is you got the element, and I'll calm your nerves here a little bit because, it is 11 on 11 and it's 11 men versus 11 men. And just because I got names, it doesn't mean that. Now, it doesn't look good. I mean, honestly, I thought you guys were going to have a hard time with the starters all being there with that defensive line and shuffling some dudes in there at the last second. Going up against that defensive line, I mean, I hate giving John Dorn any credit, but he thrives off of that, and they got some dudes on that line.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that Alan Williams has got to throw some blitz packages in there, maybe with Edmonds, maybe bringing Stevenson up on a corner blitz. We got to shake him up in the pocket. He is a mobile quarterback, so I don't want him out of the pocket. I mean, even we got Aaron Rodgers out of the pocket too, and you saw what he did. He's one of the best throwers on the run. So we gotta get to Jordan Love's head like right away. We can't wait till the second half. And like I said, last year Bears were number one on first drive touchdowns, but then we took a shit the rest of the game. We gotta keep it going. We can't.
Right. Well, with that defensive line, I wouldn't be worried about stopping. You don't have to worry about stopping Jordan Love until you stop Aaron Jones.
Right.
Like if you guys can't stop the run, they're just gonna run the ball down your throat all game.
AJ Dillon had more yards than Aaron Jones did. I think it was the first game last year.
Well, okay, running game. They got a pretty good offensive line.
Yeah.
I got Jason. Yeah. Welcome to the program, Jason.
Gentlemen, how you guys doing?
How are you, sir?
Good.
Living the dream.
That's my line, trust.
Okay, living in a nightmare. I mean, I am a Lions fan.
I'm in a nightmare with my head goddamn spinning all over the place.
Oh, so what do you want to talk about? What do you got? What do you got for us, Jason?
Well, I was listening to Mike about what his jitters were on the first week, and I just think that there's just a lot of exciting questions that are going to be answered in this game, and and some could go Chicago's way, and there's could be quite a few that can go Green Bay's way too.
Right. I mean, are you a Bear fan?
No, I'm a Packers fan.
Okay, you're a fan. You're a Packer fan. So yeah, I'm in the camp. I'm not on your side. Obviously, I'm a Lions fan. But I do believe that second and third place is going to be decided between you two, because I think that the Vikings are going to be in the basement and they're going to fall really hard from grace all the way down to the bottom. Yeah. The Vikings are going to be at the bottom. I do believe the Lions will win the division, but I do think that middle spot, that number 2 spot, could be for a playoff spot. And I think it's going to be between you and the Bears. And the Bears lost a lot in the last couple of weeks.
It's always interesting in the beginning, especially like the first 3 weeks, because every team's trying to come out of the gates guns blazing, and usually things don't really settle down until week 5, week 6. You kind of get an idea and a picture.
Yeah, it was like last year when the Bears played San Francisco the first game, and we beat them in Chicago in the monsoon.
Exactly.
At least we know Justin Fields can slide on his belly right through the end zone.
Yeah, and that was the same Niners team, Mike, that we lost in the playoffs, and the defense only gave up 6 points the whole game, and we still managed to lose that game. And you guys whooped them right out of week 1. So yeah, I agree with that.
Like I said,
was that a windy game or a storm
game?
Yeah,
it was a wet field. Yeah.
My honest truth about week 1 is either it's going to be a close game, Bears are going to win, or Packers are just going to blow us out. That's just my honest opinion about that. But like I said before you got on, Jason, is that we gotta get into Jordan Love's head right off the bat, like doing a cornerback blitz, getting our linebackers in there, and hopefully, Yannick can get in there and, cause some havoc as well. So we can't be waiting until the second half to play catch up. We can't do that this year.
Man, I look at you bring up the Yannick thing, and gosh, if I'm Matt LaFleur, every time I see Yannick out there, I'm gonna point Aaron Jones right at him.
I mean, I'm past plays, Russ. Past plays.
Why would they pass? That's the thing. Is like they don't need to pass against you. I think they're gonna be able to get a nice game here where they can settle Jordan Love down without putting a ton of pressure on him. They can hand the ball off a bunch to AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, and they can let, he could throw 10, 15 passes, couple bombs to Watson because you guys can't stop the run. That's what sets up that play action. Your defensive line has set them up to have Jordan Love start out really well here if they protect him like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with how the Packers come out and approach their mainstay on defense from the gate. I think that's a crucial moment I think I'm going to be looking for, is where they're going to set the tempo on defense and they're going to make everything just hard for the Bears to do.
I'm excited to see how the offense and defensive lines does, but my take is I want to see the Alexander DJ Moore matchup.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Because that's what I mean. If Alexander is pinning DJ Moore down the whole game, that means Cole Kmet's got to get open.
Somebody's going to be open.
Even Robert Tonyan. Like I said, he's a Chicago boy, and hopefully, because Tonyan, you know how he did against us, he used to kill us all the time. So hopefully that puts a fire in his ass.
Well, welcome to the stage, the main stage. We got Smoking Jeremy B. Or he was there. He did not freeze the minute that
already.
He froze before he got froze. Hey, let me see if I could throw him
there
back.
I am.
Okay, there you are. Took a minute. You were connecting. Welcome to the program. We're talking about
Just a second, getting my speaker situation. The headphones weren't working for some reason.
Take the hat off.
We got a Packer fan, we got a Bear fan, and I mean, Jeremy B comes on. That's the second Lion fan on there. The Vikings are still in witness protection.
We got to get Sarah on the show, Russ. We got to get Sarah on the show.
Witless protection. They have to have brains to be protected. It's witless protection.
Well, last night on our open mic, it was a Packer fan takeover, and I couldn't even believe that Robert came out and said that the Lions are going to need to take the division from the Green Bay Packers.
Hey, I don't want to bring it up because I know Detroit's going to win this division, but you know how people say you gotta show us something before it's done. So yeah, you got to take that division over.
They better do it this year. You guys laid the table out for us.
Even though Minnesota won it last year. So
Sarah said St. Brown is not better than JJ. They're equal as far as the hands are concerned. JJ has more speed. That gives him the leg up. That's pretty much it. They both run excellent routes. The only thing JJ has over St. Brown is speed.
And here this is apples and oranges here, guys. Like, I mean, JJ versus Amon-Ra, they're both top 5 wide receivers in my opinion. So I'll leave it there. It is what it is. I mean, JJ ain't going to be going over the middle and blocking nobody. So, and I know Amon-Ra St. Brown will punch somebody in the face to spring Monty, and I know JJ won't do that. So there's that.
That's one thing he does better. He blocks downfield better, but that's also why we picked up Sam Laporta to be a receiving tight end who can block downfield. He doesn't do as good at the line, but downfield, he's an excellent blocker in the run game.
So I was wondering if I can ask Jason a question. I know I want to ask Russ if I'm allowed to do that.
I'm all ears.
You're always allowed to ask. Just don't be a dick.
So I know obviously you picked the Packers to win, obviously. What do you think has to get done for the Bears to win?
You got to stop.
Thanks, Russ. I appreciate that.
Honestly, I think it really comes down to pass protection. I mean, if you can give Fields an opportunity to control and run the offense, the defense is not going to have to be out on the field as much.
See, and
I
I
like that.
kind of disagree with that because last year the Bears were 9th in time in pocket held
2.7.
with 2.7 seconds, which it only takes 3 seconds to get rid of a ball. But the problem was Justin Fields was a 1 read or 2 read and run quarterback last season. He either hit the tight end or the first wide receiver he saw open. If he didn't, he ran. He put his head down immediately. So unless he develops the ability to read a defense, that is the difference in this game.
Yeah, it's a good take.
I think it's a trust.
I mean,
thing.
there's a couple interesting things thrown out there just like that, for sure.
And
I agree with that.
Woody's heard me say that, and he said, yeah, that's exactly what happened last year.
Yep.
He either threw it to the number 1 wide receiver or Cole Kmet. That was it.
So I'll say this: if Chicago is going to be successful, I could see a scenario where they're rushing the passer and Justin Fields would escape the pocket. And DJ Moore does what DJ Moore does. DJ Moore is taking a lot of really bad quarterbacks and is able to just kind of make himself open in the middle of the field. If you can get a couple big plays like that where, the play breaks down and he's escaping and he trusts his wide receiver, I think that they could get a couple touchdowns like that, couple big plays maybe, because I think the back of the secondary, if there's anything that's weak on the Packers, it's that back end with the safeties and everything like that, or untested, I guess I would say. And you might be able to have some success there.
Well, there's definitely a burner on the Bears that could possibly meet those safeties. That's just it. You don't know how this connection between Fields and their weapon's going to be. I mean, you saw just the short plays, but I'd like to see some DJ Moore in the middle of the field and sideline stuff. Good route running.
And he's very good after the catch. I think that's a big key for the Bears this year.
It's a plus for them.
Can your guys do stuff after they get the ball in their hand? Because I wouldn't be expecting Field to throw the ball downfield as much. He does. I mean, he does have a cannon if he can get the time and he'll actually, be a quarterback. I mean, he did at Ohio State. He just hasn't done it in the pros yet.
Right.
Tougher schedule. Let me see if I can find some of these. Green Bay wins 18-15. That's how crazy this game is going to be. Write it down. We kicking field goals with Steve is real. Yeah.
You like that? Did I answer your question, Mike?
You mean Woody?
Woody, I mean.
Yeah, you did. I mean, like I said, hopefully Justin Fields has he's going to have the time, but hopefully he has the sense to look at his second and third read as well. And so he doesn't run. I mean, yeah, he ran over 1,000 yards, but I don't want him to do that again because he won't last another 2-3 years probably.
No, he will not.
So I don't know what to expect, but I guarantee Justin Fields has the most pressure on the field this week 1 because this is his make it or break it year.
But you made it clear already, Woody, that the thing that you want to see the Bears do, your team, is to actually get inside his head early and often. Yeah. And you're going to see whether or not how professional he really is if he can mentally tune that kind of stuff out. But you just don't know until you're there and you have that opportunity to apply that.
Right.
And it's coming, and I'm curious to see it too. What's he going to do under pressure? Can he handle those loud, the crowd roaring and,
It's like I said, it's a make it or break it year for him. We do have 2 first-round picks, so I want him to be the guy so we can use those 2 first-round picks for position players that we need. We still need an edge rusher. I thought we would get, at least another one during this offseason because, we need help stopping the run because obviously Yannick has a track record of not stopping the run, and I don't want these linebackers to be overworked this season.
You know, Mike, a fun fact. I was at the last time the Bears beat the Packers at Soldier Field in 2018. I was at that game.
Yeah, I still remember the game that we knocked Aaron Rodgers out, and he came back second half and came back and won. That is still stings the shit out of me, that game.
I know that feeling. I do. I know the sting feeling.
So, Jeremy, what do you think about week one for you guys?
Everybody hurts.
I think Chris Jones, because he didn't sign by Monday 4 p.m., which was the cut down to be on the active roster for a Thursday night game, that is huge. Because without him in that lineup, Karlaftis doesn't get pressure. The other rookie's not going to get pressure, and they're going to be depending on a second-year guy and a rookie to try and fill that void in the middle. And I think that leads towards us running it up the gut. And once they get past the linebackers, because the linebackers don't even play as good without Chris Jones on the field, that means I don't think a single safety can take down Montgomery on that defense because they're young and they're inexperienced.
Yeah, the way he breaks tackles, I mean, number one, and he was even number one in college, breaking tackles as well. So,
right. I mean, he was number one this year. He was number 2 years ago. He was number 3 or 4 the season before, in between those. I mean, he's been in the top 5 in broken tackles his entire career.
But he's not. It seems like how good Detroit's offensive line is, he won't get hit until he's probably in the second level anyway. So
it's a plus.
See.
But with an O-line that creates 4 yards of separation before anybody gets contact versus anywhere from 2 to negative 0.7 last year for the Bears.
Yep.
He should average almost 5 yards per carry.
Yep. Yep.
That is why we got rid of Jamal Williams, because he only averaged 4.3 when we created 4 yards of separation for him.
Yeah, the only thing I think Detroit has to worry about is Kansas City's ring ceremony that might get them fired up and the crowd. So
I think it's going to do just the opposite. It'll get the crowd fired up, but I think they're going to play loose and fancy free because they're in that next level high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we've seen that before, where the Super Bowl champs come out, get their ring at week 1, and all of a sudden they play like shit.
You know, I've been looking at PFF right here for this comment with JJ does block, and the funny thing is PFF does not show a registered block by Justin Jefferson in 2022. So I don't know what she said, that he sprung a 70-yard.
It was Jason
touchdown.
Green. When you go back and look, it wasn't number 18, it was number 19 on the roster.
Yeah, so PFF does not have a registered A block, not a block. They don't, and that's not, I'm not trying to rip on Justin Jefferson. What I'm trying to do is like say, when they look at PFF, the 2 best wide receivers in football last year were Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and they were the best for different reasons. I mean, he is definitely a better receiver than Amon-Ra St. Brown with the speed and being able to. I mean, he's a pure wide receiver. But Amon-Ra St. Brown ain't no slouch at being a wide receiver. He catches everything that comes at him. He's an excellent route runner. They're straight on par as far as route running. And he just does something that Jefferson doesn't, which is he extends play. He blocks in the run game and the pass game.
And I heard that St. Brown, that the both brothers worked out together this offseason, so maybe that'll put a fire in his ass too, his brother.
And that's what they do. I mean,
only hope.
Oh, Travion says that the Lions 13-4 this year, 1 or 2 in the NFC. I mean, God, that's a lot of big tough talk. Doesn't that make you nervous? Is the hype train out of control, Jeremy?
I mean, expectations are always high. It's just,
Not like this. I've been a Lions fan for as long as
those are big shoes. Those are big shoes. I mean, you got to get it now. You got to go out and get it.
You take the NFC, though, this year. I think San Francisco is going to fall back. That's just my opinion on San Francisco. I don't think Brock Purdy's the answer.
Is Bosa still in a contract dispute, too?
What's that?
Is Nick Bosa is he under contract? Don't
get me started on that subject.
I mean, you see, there you go. Problems.
I said I would give up a first-round pick, like a snap of my fingers, to get Nick Bosa over in Chicago. But they're working on a contract. I just saw that yesterday. But like I said, I think they're going to fall back. And you got to think, all you have is, and I hate to say this because my heart drops every time I say this, the Sheagles are probably going to be up there again because with them drafting Carter probably made them the best defense in the NFC again. You got to, with their sacks last year, it was just unbelievable. So you got to think who's the next team. I mean,
The Packers.
The Saints' schedule is very much in their favor if you go through the Saints' schedule as well. And then you got, like I said, you got Detroit, and I can see Detroit being number 2. I really can.
Yeah, I think the Packers' defense stacks up pretty good against Philadelphia's.
And here I can say something to a Packer fan, and this is the truth right here, and this is something that a Packer fan isn't used to hearing: is you're going to have to prove that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Their biggest question mark.
Absolutely, I ain't disagreeing with that, Russell Wayne.
And that's weird, isn't it? Like that. I mean,
it is.
This is the first time in a year. I mean, 30 years that there's been uncertainty in Green Bay on some form. I mean, the Rodgers always can make was always able to make an average offensive line good. He was always good at making a good offensive line great. He
covered up a lot.
He covered up some stuff.
Yeah.
And is Love that guy? And then I ask you this. I'm going to ask you this and be honest with me. Do you think that this version of Jordan Love is going to be better than last year's version of Aaron Rodgers?
It depends on how I want to attack that question. I mean, I think he can be as good, but as the way he plays his game, not trying to be somebody that he's not.
Sure.
I think he has that ability, and I think that he'll rise up to that occasion. I think he's ready. I think the front office knew that a while back before this even came about trading Rodgers away at that point.
So if they believed in him, let's go down that rabbit hole. If they believed in him, why did they give him an extension that gave him less money than a 5th-year option and not just extend him if they believed in him?
Yep.
Maybe they just want to see how it all plays out.
And that's fine. And that's
maybe they just want that short window between now and week 8, and then they're already getting the deal done. That's just go ahead.
That's one of the questions I had yesterday. On Sunday with Hallis Hall is if Jordan Love's, and I asked a lot of Packers fans this too. If Jordan Love does shitty this year, like shitty, do they go out and get a quarterback next year in the draft?
If I
would almost think you'd have to ride with him one more year before you do that.
I was about ready to call on Jeremy.
Yeah.
Man,
that would be
if you get mad that fast and come off the show, man, that's kind of bonk. That's really bonk. I mean, I think he was mad because that he didn't get to chime in on that question. But I don't know. Let's see. JJ does. Okay, let me get in here. Jordan Love. Let's see. A-Dub says, what kind of production for Justin Fields have to in order for himself to?
That's an easy question. I can answer that.
I can't even read. Have to do in order to keep himself with the Bears in terms of make or break here.
He has to be able to trust his receivers and have to have, like I said, I think he's going to have like 3,200 yards this year. And he's going to have to prove that he can throw the ball, first of all, trust his receivers, look past his second and third read. If not, go. But he can't be – we're not going to keep him if he runs another 1,000 yards this year and have another 3 to 4 wins. Now, like I said, the Bears are going to have my prediction was 7-10. if he gets under that, I say he's done. He's done.
I got a question for all you guys.
No excuses here with all the weapons that we have. No excuses.
Thank you for saying that.
You like that? I like that too.
Gentlemen, I got a question for every fan out there. What if Jordan Love pans out being the third quarterback? Does lightning strike 3 times in a bottle?
I mean Hall of Fame quarterbacks?
Yeah. I mean, what if he ends up being that 3 straight times Green Bay has been able to do this? I mean, what's it going to be like in the division once that is pretty much the set tempo, if it happens? And it might happen.
That's one position you don't have to worry about then.
I think you'll be neck and neck with the Lions for the next 10 years. I mean, I think the Lions have built a team right now that's going to be able to match up against great quarterbacks. And the teams that don't have great quarterbacks are going to get swallowed up by this team and this defense and this defensive line. So, I mean, kudos to you. That's what I would say to that.
Well, definitely Detroit and Green Bay have like the best defensive line and depth going into this season in this division. There's no question about it.
Yeah, even though Minnesota's got a couple of, I would say, top end players. I mean, I take nothing away from T.J. Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, and Christian Darrisaw. I definitely like Kirk Cousins a lot better than he's portrayed out there. I mean, the dude's done nothing but win. So
I've always had a funny feeling on Cousins, but I think that goes back to the days in Washington. But I don't know. They've spent a lot of guaranteed money for Cousins, and I think their kind of all in situation was kind of last year.
Yeah, the only thing that Bears have depth in is I believe in their linebackers and their cornerbacks and maybe running back. The other ends, offensive line, defensive line, not at all. Nope. If we get one injury on one of those defensive and offensive lines, that's a wrap for the season.
And this is a good point right here. I mean, you guys didn't draft Favre. I mean, but they traded. You guys traded for him.
Atlanta.
So you guys didn't develop him. I mean, Favre was Favre when he got there.
He drove Holmgren crazy. I do remember.
And I want to say that the Bears ended Favre's season when he was in Minnesota, but I'm not saying nothing. Oops. Hey,
but he did bring a title. I mean, and that's all you really. I mean, you hang your hats on titles. I mean,
that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, that's the goal.
And
I agree.
Here we are in the NFC North. We got nobody. I mean, I guess Green Bay has the last thing to brag about, but really, 2010. None of us get to call home about any of this stuff.
And see, the thing is, everybody acts like it's so easy to get to that dance. It's not easy to do. No. It's just not.
You know what?
Teams that are good are good.
Exactly.
Sarah's comment was pretty good about Cousins. That's interesting.
Cousins is done, and he is not coming back next year. We're drafting a rookie.
Well, there's some good rookies coming out in the QB classes next year.
Me and Nick Green were talking about that too. You got Caleb Williams, but me and Nick like Bo Nix out of Oregon. So there's going to be a lot. Then you got May out of North Carolina. So there's a lot of good quarterbacks coming out next year.
Yep.
Well, Sarah, if you're going to draft a quarterback, I think your team's going to be bad. And I know that you guys don't think you're going to be bad, but you're not getting one of those top quarterbacks unless you find your way into the top 10. You're going to have to get into the top 10 of the draft. And frankly, you got the Packers and the Bears that are going to be ahead of you with their draft picks. They can just trade up because they have extra first round picks and they have more capital. So good luck getting a good rookie next year if you plan on being good. Yep. All right. Favre. Yeah. Favre. Is that what we can say?
Bert Favre is what I call him.
Holmgren developed him. Holmgren didn't develop him. What are you talking about?
Didn't develop him, no.
Pissed off at Favre.
No, I don't know where some of these comments come from, Russell.
Yeah, and Matt Nagy developed Mitch Trubinsky too. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is a good point. I like what A-Dub says here. If Love flops this year, it's not a complete desperation to get another quarterback, especially Sean Clifford continues to show promise in the preseason to be a starter in his own right.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, there's nothing wrong. I know that you hate Penn State, but I watched Sean Clifford play, and this kid can ball. He was in games he shouldn't have been in when he was in college. Like Penn State was not that good. They were okay on defense, and his elite quarterback play was the only thing that kept them in a lot of the games where they lost like 45-41. I remember Ohio State.
Just to give you your head a little bigger there, bud. I watched Penn State game on Saturday at the bar when I went to. They did not look too good against West Virginia. I think Ohio State and Michigan will have no problem against them this year.
Yeah, especially without Sean Clifford.
Yeah.
I mean, so Chad says you can't afford to re-sign Cousins. Sarah, Vikings are in cap hell. I mean, that's what
true.
she just said, and she says that it's a deep QB class, and we don't need to get into the top 10. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. Now, if you want to get one of the top-rated guys, you do, or if you can luck out like the Lions did and get a top-end guy that has an injury.
I'll guarantee those top 3 quarterbacks in college will be going top 10.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
And if you don't get there, you're going to have to trade to get there. And, I mean, that's the way that the things work right now with the new drafts. The way that they are getting these guys on rookie deals. Yeah, I'll trade all the way up to 1 if I need to, right? Right, Bears? Right, Bears? I'll just give you my next 3 years 1s. Like, gosh, man. The Bears could get good over the next couple of years. I'm telling you, man, they could get the load up.
I said if Justin Fields does good this year and we get his 5th-year option, next year I'm talking, and you can press the button, playoffs, definitely.
A-Dub says, as I recall, the Vikings already drafted a QB from last year's draft in Jaron Hall. Yeah. I mean, do you believe in him? I mean, is he the heir apparent? I mean, if you think that he can be a starting level quarterback, throw it in the comments. I mean, there you go. Sarah, I think she may be the only Viking fan in the comments, so I may be talking directly to Sarah since the rest of the Viking fans are in witness protection because they already know.
They're going to be in winless protection.
Yeah, they'll be in winless protection. They might be. I actually got them beating the Tampa Bay because I don't think I think they're better than Tampa Bay is. I think they'll beat Tampa Bay. But
yeah, and I just looked. The Bears are a 0.5 point favorite on Sunday.
That line's been going all over the place.
0.5 point.
Who's the Vikings are?
No, the Bears are favored by 0.5 point on Sunday.
That line is everywhere.
Well, everybody's throwing the money down on it now.
Well, now I'm sorry. Now it's 1 point. Okay.
See?
So
just like that.
By Saturday, Green Bay will be favored by 3. Don't worry.
Nah.
So who's the kid from Duke?
They're totally underestimating the loss of the Packers not having Rodgers.
Yeah,
I think I think there's 53 people on a team, man. The Packers are still a sound football team. This should be a good game.
What was that?
I said, well, he says, watch out for this kid from Duke. Do you know who's the kid from Duke?
Riley Leonard.
Leonard.
Okay. They oh my God, again, Clemson last night. Holy crap. Duke
really? Okay.
They forced 3 turnovers. They won 28-7 over.
Okay.
Clemson.
That Florida State game was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
We got Lonnie with a go blue. Lonnie says Minnesota has the tank. Hey, that's the good thing, Sarah, is just between me and you, I think that you guys are awful this year, and you guys will be picking in the top 10, and maybe you can get one of these quarterbacks. And then
because Arizona's probably going to be finished with the worst record, and they're going to go after a quarterback in this draft as well.
Even while he was a backup, he can still develop with time. That's great. That's great. But there's 32 jobs that are starting quarterback level jobs in the NFL. And if you ain't an elite guy, you're always getting looked on to get replaced because you want to have one of the elite quarterbacks on a rookie deal. That's the new game. Let's get a rookie deal quarterback.
Well said.
Sarah says he will be a good, cheap backup QB. Okay, I mean that's good. He looked decent in 3 games of preseason. You know, the Lions went 4-0 in the preseason. They went 0-16. I just throwing it out there. I just so you know,
they said that no team has ever won a Super Bowl going undefeated in the preseason too. So throw that as a little fun fact.
And it's the opposite of that, you know,
because
because now
Russ, I don't know if I ever asked you this. Is it all or nothing this year with Detroit with Goff? If they don't win the division or get in the playoffs, is Goff done?
I think they have their contingency plan in place. I don't know how good Hendon Hooker is going to be, but I know that he's going to get every chance to develop behind. I mean, we're pulling a page out of the Green Bay book here. We got a good starting level quarterback, and we got a nice dude behind him. I mean, Goff had a career year, and he actually is creeping up on, you know, however many passes he's thrown without an interception. He's approaching the record here within the next couple games if he can actually play clean football. So,
look at that last comment from Sarah. Woo, Russell, is that towards you?
What's that?
You're going to eat crow.
You can say, okay. Hey, you know what? If you guys start out and you guys win this division, I will, you know me, you know me. I will come onto this show and I'll eat a double crow with cheese. Double crow burger.
We're going to call you Ozzy Osbourne eating the back.
Nice big feathers just stacked out of it too.
I'll eat the crow, Sarah. I promise you.
You like that?
I get paid to make opinions, and I have my opinion. I put it out there. I don't apologize for it, and if I'm wrong, I will apologize for it.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
I appreciate you repping the Vikings. You have a lot Vikings. You have a lot more courage than Viking fan does. So I love that you're here, Detroit Daniel. Good thing we lost last year in preseason, because we are winning in the Super Bowl. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah,
there we go. You like that? Want to feel good.
When you were saying about Hendon Hooker, I mean, I wish you would have stayed at Virginia Tech. I love the way he played, and I think he's going to do good for you in the NFL.
I like this call. It could be. I mean, we might get a chance to see Hooker this season if he gets a nice lead when he's active. I could see that happening, especially in like Minnesota at the end of the year, if we already have the division wrapped up, that type of thing.
You got a 40 burger on him.
Got a 40 burger on him. Actually, I think it would be really funny is if in week 18, if the Lions already have the division wrapped up, that it's we throw Teddy Bridgewater in there to torch his old team. They win at 18 anyway, because they did him wrong. They did
storybook finish
wrong, dude. Oh, he gets injured. They're like, cut. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you're not even going to keep him on IR. You just moving on. All right, then. They went and got Cousins. It's like, wow. If I was Teddy Bridgewater, I would probably feel a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
About Minnesota.
Yeah.
Jay Mommy says, I can see the Lions not making the playoffs. Too many leaders on the field to let that happen. Oh, I can't see the Lions not making the playoffs. Okay.
Well, yeah. Like I said, I follow a lot of, and I don't want to change the sports. I'm a big Devils fan when it comes to hockey. And back then in the early 2000s, the Fly Girls had the best team on paper, but Devils would, win the Stanley Cup. So that could be a non-statement, because it could, if there's too many leaders on the field, some teams might not win because there's too many big names on the field. And like, for example, if you have 3 great top-notch receivers, all of them want the ball, and sometimes that causes animosity between the team.
Right. But we don't. That's not the feel that you get.
Right.
When you listen to the coaches speak, when you listen to the players speak, like an example is, I remember in the Carolina game, they were interviewing Adam Thielen on the sideline. And it wasn't like he was being a dick or anything like that, but you could just tell in his demeanor, I'm Adam Thielen. I'm coming here. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to, get a new start and this and that. And that's fine. But then when you listen to all of the players on the Lions team, these guys are all like, hey, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be part of this culture, of this thing that's being built here. It's brand new. It feels great. It's not like I'm on Raw saying, yeah, I'm going to torch everybody. I am going to come out. I'm going to catch 10 balls on. He's like, look, we are what we are. We are what we work for. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Those guys are working hard, and they're going to be a hard out this year. Any way you slice it, the Lions will be a hard out for any team to beat them this year. If the Packers come in week 4 and you guys win that game, you're in for a fight. You may
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
you may lose one of your kneecaps in the win. But you're going to leave with a busted lip and a black eye, and you're going to be like, we just played a team.
Right.
We just played these guys and we won, but we got out. I'm glad we ain't got to do that again next week. That's the type of team that he's built. And that's going to be fun. I like having that team. I like being the San Francisco 49er type of, it's a dog mentality. We got bigger. They said the other day in a press conference that Ray Agnew, our player development guy or whatever, he says we have we like the bullies, like big guys beat up, small guys, right? And he says we got a lot of big guys. We got a lot of big bullies on our team that will stand up to anybody.
Her comments are off the hook, man. I love it.
I have bad knees anyway.
We're going to bite a kneecap. We're going to bite a kneecap off.
That one comment, she says, I'll buy AMC popcorn and watch U2. Which U2 are you talking about, Sarah?
I think it's was it. Are you sure? It's both of us. Is it Jason? Did Jason say something? Or it's probably me and Mike. Me and Mike have been really.
I don't eat crow.
Mike and I don't agree on everything. We usually disagree on a lot of stuff, especially Lions related, on the detail stuff, like every fan base does. But we definitely are unified in the fact that we think that the Vikings are going to be trash this year.
You like that?
So, Jay Mommy, second generation American. My dad was the firstborn in the country. We have more relatives in Canada. Definitely a Wings fan. I like that.
Oh, boy. I remember that 1995 Stanley Cup Finals. That was my graduation from high school, and we swept the Detroit Red Wings in the Stanley Cup the night of my graduation party. Woo, what a night.
Only Seattle destroyed us last season. I don't see that happening again. They really didn't destroy us. They won 48-45 was the final score in that game. And I remember Goff getting a lot of crap. Oh man, Goff, because he threw a pick 6 in the game. It's like, man, what do you expect this guy to do? They didn't punt. They didn't punt in that game. They made Geno Smith look like Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady had a baby together.
Russell.
Sounds like that. It sounds like that Rams Chiefs game last year too.
Go ahead,
Russell.
Jake.
Wasn't that opening game when you guys played Philadelphia? Wasn't that a high scoring affair?
Oh yeah,
I think that was 38-35.
Was I pissed?
So I mean, the Lions offense was the thing that broke out last year. Even during
They were number one for 4 weeks right out of the gate. They were a top offense, if I remember right.
Jason,
they were a top offense because they were a bottom defense. They were in shootouts.
I hate the Sheagles more than the Packers, if that says anything.
Yeah.
A-Dub says, I'm not a Lions fan, Sarah. They're getting in there. Oh, this is going to be a fun week, guys. I've done another 2-hour show, which is awesome because you guys made it a lot better by being here. I wish that Jeremy would have stayed on. He said that he had to go, so I'm not going to take that personally.
Love you, Jeremy.
But we love you, Jeremy. He always gives good information from, like, he gets the detailed stuff. Goes deep with it. But I'm going to allow you right now, Woody, right here. Go ahead. Plug the show. Do it up.
Come join us, Hallis Hall Report, me, Mike the Bear Fan, and Ken Doby, Wednesday nights, 7:30 Central Standard Time. and Sunday mornings right before kickoff, 11:30 Central Standard Time. Come talk to us. Jason, was good talking to you, and good luck this Sunday.
Back at you.
It's like good luck, but not really. Do you have
Yeah.
a show? Do you have a podcast or anything that you want to plug, Jason?
No, I just like coming on and you guys talking football. You know, it's that's what it's all about. Having a good time, have a few laughs.
Oh, it sure is. But we like to be a platform for platforms. Like I'm not.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
I don't like to compete with people. I'm not trying to compete with anybody. I ain't better than nobody. I'm just an average Joe that loves football along with Mike. We're a couple musicians.
You're
nice.
better than Penn
We
State,
grill
Russell.
out, we eat hot dogs, we do football, we do guy stuff.
Just ordinary guys, that's it.
And I think that's why people like us. Don't forget, go follow Bill the Packer Fan, and for all your Packer news, if you're a Packer head and you love the Green Bay Packers, then that's your spot right there. Go follow him, the Frozen Tundra Network, airing every Sunday night, I believe. We represent the Lions here. This is the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. We want to wreck your dreams. We want to wreck your lives if you're not a Lion fan. So go give us a follow right there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have so much fun doing this each and every day. 11 a.m. on the Eastern time, and it's a 10 a.m. in the Central. And God bless you guys.
And to say one more thing, Sarah, I love you for saying that comment. You hate the Eagles as well. Love you.
And for everybody from Woody, from me, Russell Wayne, God bless you guys. We're gonna see you guys tomorrow. Let me go find my thing. One Pride.
Bear down.
Acknowledge me. We're gonna bite a kneecap off.
playoffs.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
It's not fair. They were so happy. It's not gonna be okay.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabinda from the Detroit Lions. Here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.